do I pay myself is one of the most asked questions for new business owners and new entrepreneurs. So I am Coach Shaune. I'm the CEO of C3 Coaching Strategies. And our goal at C3 Coaching Strategies is simple. Our goal is to assist the everyday person and business owners to survive. But we want you to do more than just survive. We want you to thrive. And so today we're going to talk about a topic that we all love, right? And that's paying ourselves. We work hard, we grind hard, we work at our products, we sell our services, and at the end of the day, we just really want to get paid. But it gets very tricky when we're talking about getting paid from our business. So today we're going to break it down for those of you that own LLCs. I'm going to make this as simple as possible for you. So if this sounds good, I need you to do me a favor. I want you to like this video and don't forget to follow us. And so that this way you won't miss out on our future videos. And to be honest, it makes me really, really happy when you like, follow, and subscribe. So I want to thank you for doing that. Now, let's get started, right? Let's just get straight into it. Number one, if you are a single member LLC, it's important for you to know that you're considered a disregarded entity in the IRS. This is, of course, if you elect to be taxed as a corporation. So if you're a disregarded entity, that means that you're going to be taxed the same way as a sole proprietor, even if you have an LLC. You're still taxed exactly the same way as a sole proprietor. The only difference is that when you have an LLC, then you have asset protection. This means that your LLC is separating you from your business, but you're still being taxed exactly the same. Okay, so now that we understand that, let's move on into paying ourselves. Coach, how do I pay myself with having a single member LLC or being a sole proprietor? Well, the house is easy. All you're going to do when you open up your business bank account with your bank, you're going to get yourself some checks. And this way you can write yourself a check straight from your business account, okay? And then you're going to deposit the check from your business account into your personal account. That's how you pay the house. That's how you pay yourself. But it gets a little bit more tricky, right? So if you want to save some trees, then you can just tell them to do an electronic transfer from your business account and send it over to your personal account. That's the easy part of paying yourself, right? That's the easy part of paying the house. The real question is, how much do I pay myself? Now, before I even begin starting to talk about how much you need to pay yourself as an LLC, let's talk about the relationship between employee to entrepreneur, right? So as an employee, you're used to getting paid every 2 weeks, right? We go ahead, we do the work, we clock in, we clock out. We do it for 5 days, we do it for 40 hours a week. And at the end of 2 weeks, you get 80 hours, right? And at the end of those 80 hours, you expect your check on that Friday or whenever you get paid, you expect to have those 80 hours in your check. But when you're an entrepreneur, you can put in all that work, right? You can work more than 80 hours. You can work more than 5 days a week. But just because you put in all those hours as an entrepreneur does not mean you're going to be paid by your business the same way that you're paid by someone else, because your business simply may not have the funds to pay you, because the business needs the funds in order to grow, in order to pay for operations. So it's important that you know that sometime as an entrepreneur, you're going to get paid, but you're not going to get paid the same way. So get into the mindset of my business comes before me, and I got to make sure that the business is healthy in order for it to grow. So this way, I'm going to be able to make more money and pay myself more in the future. So it's an immediate investment for a long-term return. Okay, so now that we have that out the way, and we talked about the mindset, let's begin about how much to pay ourselves. So the first thing we need to understand is profits. Look at your profit margins every 2 weeks. Or if you're not somebody that has a lot of volume happening right now, look at it every month. But get into the habit of doing it every 2 weeks, the same way you're getting paid at your job, at a 9-to-5 job. Now, how do you understand your profits? It's very simple. So let's say you have $5,000 in revenue that comes into your business. However, in order to make the 5,000, you had 2,000 in expenses. So now you do some basic math here. 5,000 in revenue, 2,000 in expenses. That means you now have somewhere between a gross profit of 3,000. Okay, so that's very basic math, right? So now that you have 3,000 in profit, that's the money that you're actually playing with. Okay, so when it comes to thinking about what to pay yourself, you're thinking about that 3,000 is in play. But don't get excited because you're not paying yourself that 3,000. So now that we're down to that 3,000 profit, remember I told you earlier that business comes first. So there are certain things that you're going to have to allocate to that 3,000. So the first thing that you're going to have to allocate to that 3,000 is taxes. So let me tell you real quick how you calculate your taxes. It's very simple. This is going to be a very rough estimate. These are not accurate numbers. So, number one, you're going to be paying self-employment tax. Since you're not paying payroll taxes because you're not considered an employee to the business, self-employment tax is about 15.3%. All right. You also have to pay federal taxes based on your tax bracket. So I'm just going to say that my tax bracket is 22%. Okay, so if my tax bracket is 22%, now if I were to do some rough estimates here, I'm going to have to pay 22% in federal, 15.3% in self-employment. That's around 38% in taxes that I'm going to have to pay. So remember, you can also get deductions and credits that bring your taxable income down. I'm just doing a rough estimate for you of the 38% in taxes that you're going to have to allocate from that 3,000. And then you're going to have to put that to the side because you need to be making your tax payments quarterly. You can do it yearly, but quarterly is going to be best and it's not going to be as large of a hit. So now that you're paying 38% in taxes on that 3,000, that's the first thing that you need to allocate. So I'm going to set myself up with a separate bank account just for taxes. And every time I earn profit, I'm going to take that percentage of the self-employment tax and whatever percentage in my tax bracket, and I'm going to put it in a bank account that I set up for my taxes. That's going to be my first step to success, right? Now, the second allocation is going to be operational expenses. You have operational expenses in order to run your business. So this is going to include your website, marketing ads, etc. So let's say your operational expenses are about 15%. This is just an example. So you're going to set up a bank account just for operational expenses so that all your bills are coming straight from this particular account. Okay, it's going to make it so much easier when you're doing bookkeeping. Now that you have your accounts separated, and now that you got your taxes, you have your tax account, and then you have your operational account. So the third thing that we're going to have is our savings, right? Or our reserve. So I suggest that you put all of your profit that you take from your profit that you save, out of all of your profit, you save about 10%. Why? Because a lot of businesses don't make it because they aren't sitting on cash. So when you're sitting on cash, you're able to float during times like what we just experienced, the pandemic, where people took huge hits to their business and personal credit because they didn't have business credit and they didn't have cash. So they ended up, taking this hit. Okay, put in the comments if you need more, if you need me to talk to you more about business credit, or hit the like button if this information is good. So the last one, which is my favorite, is innovation. So you want to take about 7% of those profits out of that 3,000 and apply that to innovation. And innovation is going to give you the ability to make investments into growing the business. And this is going to give you the space to buy those things that you need, like new computers, cameras, and so on. And so this 7% goes into the innovation bank account so that you're not touching your savings account. So after taxes, after operations, after savings, after innovations, we now have our fifth payment. You guessed it, paying yourself with whatever is left over. Okay? So pat yourself on the back because now you've just paid yourself. So let's recap. First, pay your taxes, which is self-employment tax and federal tax, which is roughly about 38% based off my example, which means that you'll need to put about $1,140 into your tax bank account. Then I have my operational expenses, which are about 15%, roughly based on my example. So you're going to put about $450 into your operational expenses account. And then you have your savings account, which you should put about 10%, which is going to be about $300 based off the $3,000 that we use. And that's going to go into your savings or your reserve account. And then you have your innovation account, right? Which is going to be about 7%. So that's about $210. And you're going to put that into your innovation account, which is now going to leave you with how much I can actually pay myself. So who's doing the math with me? So if you're doing the math with me, then you'll see that you're going to be able to pay yourself $900. And that means that you're left with 30%. So you paid 70% out to the profits to ensure that your business gets paid first and that you're handling all the business responsibilities. And then you're going to be left with 30% out of that profit in order to pay yourself. I know I could have just said pay yourself 30% of the profit, but I really wanted to break down to you so that you had an understanding. So just remember, when you're an entrepreneur, that this is an example and it's not always how it's going to be. You're going to have some highs, you're going to have some lows, and you're going to have so much volatility in your business. And so when it comes to your revenue and your profit, this is an ideal situation when you're within your first few years. So congratulations if you're generating profits to be able to pay yourself right now. So that, my friends, is how you're going to pay yourself out of your LLC. The last thing I'll end it off with is, if I'm paying myself out of my LLC and I'm writing a check from my LLC to myself, am I paying taxes multiple times? No. All of your profits are going to flow through you or your Schedule C of your 1040. So you're only going to be taxed one time. All of the profits are going to flow through you as a pass-through entity. So you're not being taxed twice. You're not being double taxed. You're only being taxed one time, which is going to be your self-employment tax, plus your federal taxes. And possibly in states that don't do state taxes, you don't really have to worry about that. You're going to be even better. So speak with your CPA to determine if you should elect to be taxed as an S corp, which means that you save a lot of money on self-employment taxes. But remember, being an LLC is not actually saving you any taxes. It's just an asset allocation and protection. All right, you made it to the end of this video. I hope that this information has been very beneficial to you and that you found some value from this. So if you did, please, once again, like, follow, and share, and make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube, and let me know in the comments how you paid yourself and did this actually make sense. Once again, guys, I'm Coach Shaune. It's been my pleasure, and I hope that you found value. Until the next video, be blessed.